Hey everybody, it is me, Seventh Hanuman. I hope all of you are doing well. I'm back. It's been a while, and I want to make a video, a live stream here, helping a targeted individual. Now, some of you might know this YouTube content creator. Her name is Candy Grandpre. I watched some of her videos, and I feel sad to see her living on the street and continuing to let her garbage stained gang stalkers mess with her. And I hope by making this live stream, I can help her change the way she look at the world and change the way she deal with her daily life. So I will show a video of one of her video, and we will analyze the video and we'll go from there. So I will post this link. Hello. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Thank you for joining me. Okay, so I will post this link. If any of you wants to join in, feel free to join in on this chat. But for now, let's watch this video as I analyze Candy Grandpre, and hopefully I can help her. So here we go. One second. Hello, everybody. It's me, Seventh Hanuman. Today, I want to make a video on Miss Candy Grandpre. She's a YouTube content creator. She's a targeted individual, and she's currently living on the streets. I feel bad for her because a lot of the things that are happening in her life, she bought the idea that gang stalkers are just everywhere and her family's involved, and her life is being sabotaged by the gang stalkers on a daily basis. And one thing led to another. She's living on the streets. And I want to help her because as I'm watching this video, something happened which was a great turning point. And I just want to emphasize on what happened in the video. So let's start, and I will analyze her situation, and hopefully she won't get upset at the things I would say about her, and hopefully she'll take in the information and change her life a little bit if possible. It was a good start, but let's watch the video together.
I mean, I hate that the online gang stalkers, that they're, monitoring my fundraiser several times a day. They Google me several times a day. They stalk all my YouTube videos. I mean, as I said, y'all got families to tend to. I ain't got no life. And you don't see me stalking everybody.
Okay, when she said she's got no life, that is a psychological problem there already, because the way she projects her life, the way she sees things, it's in a very negative way. The good start to changing that is don't even say things like that. Don't say I have no life. saying those words, it does more than just saying it, because you're actually hearing your own words. You're actually saying it, so you're training your own mind to be in that negative barrier. So she, by saying that, she herself is working against her own life by saying, I have no life. So the best way for her to go about it is try to not even say that. Don't even, she didn't even need to say that sentence at all.
Yeah. Wow. So, excuse me. Hey, y'all have changed the spare for food to eat? All right, thanks. It's always one person. Oh wow, they're gang stalkers. He was wearing a red shirt, and then when he turned on the wow, he just told me no too. He was wearing a red shirt. See, CB4 951. This is not legal. Y'all talk about me breaking the law. No wonder. And this guy, he was wearing a red shirt.
See, now, when she said this is not legal, I have no idea what she's try to share with the audience, because in her mind, it made sense to her. In her mind, she's thinking about something that's not legal, which I would assume it's the gang stalking related. But for the audience watching it, we have no idea what she meant by it's not illegal, because I didn't see anything illegal happening. And for those of you that are watching this with me, please take a moment and just close your eyes and try to imagine you as a mediator. So take all your gang stalking experience, put that aside, and just try to watch this video as a mediator from a non-TI perspective. So if you're not a TI and you're just watching this, you would kind of wonder what happened here that's not legal, because I did not see anything illegal. But for Candy Grandpre, in her mind, something she's thinking about is illegal. And I noticed in her videos, she have gone deep into the danger zone. Because in one of my videos, I explained, if nothing else is working for you and you're still stuck in this phase, you're in the danger zone. And she's definitely in the danger zone, because she'll just start calling people gang stalkers out of nowhere. So she's constantly training herself to just, without thinking, just kind of say the words, just label people as gang stalkers without any real solid evidence backing it up. So now she has become this person that just, without thinking, just label people as gang stalkers.
That's why he just straight up said no. Look at him. Then they don't speak no English. They're perps. Yeah, freaking gang stalkers.
See, if I was the people in the car in this situation, I would be like, wow, that's a TI tripping out. But for these people in this car, they're probably wondering what's going on. Why is she filming, have the camera facing us, filming us? They're probably scared. But for Candy Grandpre, for some reason, she thinks she's a victim, and that these people in the car are gang stalkers. But here's the question. What are the people in the car doing to her? What are the people in the car doing to her? She is being manipulated by the lower voice to skull. Because all she's doing is being triggered the idea that these people in the car are gang stalkers by the lower voice to skull. But since she does not know that she's being triggered by the lower voice to skull, she's acting out and believing these people in the car are the gang stalkers. When in reality, as you're watching this video, the people in the car did not do anything illegal. They're not even engaging with her. She could have just kept walking. But all of a sudden now they are scared, wondering what is going on with this person filming them.
Yeah. That's why they told me no. Oh, now he put on his proper headlights. So it looked like he manipulate the headlights. I'm sorry, the proper tail lights and brake lights. So it's like he manipulate the tail lights or headlights or whatever through the cell phone.
See, notice how she said they manipulated the tail light through a cell phone. Those are not facts because she did not find the factual evidence. Those are just claims that she made with no factual evidence to back it up. So she is just openly saying these things without realizing that she actually got no proof of it. Where does she have to prove that those people were using a cell phone to turn on and off the tail light to indicate they're gang stalkers to the other gang stalkers? There's no proof, but yet she's saying it with so much certainty that she knows. Somehow she knows those people were using a cell phone to turn their tail lights back on. So it looks like normal tail lights instead of just one of them going out. My advice to her, she didn't even need to say these last few sentences. Try to explain something that she had no idea was going on. And that's what's wrong with a lot of the TI in the TI community, or people are just openly explaining how they're doing these things to make sense in their own mind. But in reality, it's the lower voice to skull messing with them, making them think a certain way. So you're going to have to really analyze these situations as a TI. Just to know if there are facts or not. And you're going to need to get solid evidence. And most TIs do not have any evidence at all. And that's why the non-TIs see us as crazy people. But I know TIs are not crazy. And I just know TIs are misinformed. Because majority of TIs are not experiencing voice to skull. And the one experiencing voice to skull are not even understanding lower voice to skull. Hold on one second. I got incoming call. Hold on. Okay, sorry everybody. My wife just called, but so let's continue with this.
I'm not an expert on the gang stalking technology and the apps and all, you know.
So now she's saying she's not an expert on the gang stalking technology in the apps. So therefore, she should not even said that they use the cell phone to turn the tail light back on.
Like if somebody hitting you with the energy weapons, I don't know how professed target individuals use the apps to show how much radiation is being hit with them. I mean, hit at them, you know. But when it come to me, I don't know. They don't. The apps don't seem like they work properly. Excuse me, y'all had change the spread for food to eat. All right, thanks. Yeah. So it's always one person to answer, and the other person either one person to answer, and another person will either, look at me like I'm crazy. They will look at me like I'm crazy, or or ignore me.
Now, it sounds like to me that she is letting what other people do bother herself. So she is self-inflicting these problems because we all know You can only control what yourself do, but you can't control what other people do. So if she asks someone for money and one person answer no, they have no money, while the rest of the group are looking at her like like she said, looking at her crazy, like she's crazy. There's nothing she can do about it other than to not think too much into that. So she's thinking so much into it that other people look at her like she's crazy, that she's allowing those thoughts to bother her. So the only thing she can do is to not think into it. If a person says no and the rest of the group just look at her like she's crazy, like she said, all she can do is just say thank you and just go keep walking. Go to the next person. Ask the next person. But it's to me, it seems like she's putting her mind energy into thinking about how the rest of the group was looking at her like she's a crazy person. And she does not need to do that. By doing it, she's actually training her own mind and herself making her see herself in a negative way or in a hateful way towards society. So she really needs to just stop thinking into it.
But another slander campaign that's going around. The online gang stalkers lied on me and said that I cursed out a lady that donated me $300. Which is not true, but if I did, that ain't y'all business.
Okay. And another thing I noticed about her from her videos, she's very critical at the people online. Criticism is going to happen when you upload videos on the internet. That's something she have to understand. And if she read into those comments and she's letting those comments bother her, then she's just hurting herself. She needs to understand there will be people out in this world with a different perspective, a different viewpoint, and different understanding of life and how to go about different situations and problems. So for her, one of her weaknesses, she buys into the criticism online. And by buying into those criticism, she's actually really hurting herself because she likes to mention that she's a real TI. And what bothers her is people call her fake TI. So for that in itself, it's really bothering her. And in her videos, she would make many mention of it. Let me tell you right now, Candy is a real TI. She's a real targeted individual. Definitely a real TI. Without a question. And anyone that calls her a fake TI is just a lower TI that's just in the lower stages of gang stalking. That is it. A TI that's elevating themselves will become more spiritual. And that's a fact.
Excuse me, y'all have change to spare for food to eat?
Pardon me?
Do y'all have change to spare for food to eat?
No, I don't have any.
All right, thanks. So, thankfully, yeah, like the moment I started to give up and lose hope, somebody swooped in and donated $20, with my panhandling. And, well, I'm not going to go into too much detail. But, sometimes when I get a lot of no's and rejection, a lot of the times, some days I get no help.
When she says she does not want to go into too much details, I recommend her to actually do go into the details because that was a positive situation. She said she's about to lose hope, and someone came along and gave her $20, but she doesn't want to go into details. She needs to go into details because that was a good situation. And by going into detail, it is a positive thing that can reinforce her mind because she's going through too much negative thoughts. And that one detail that she's talking about are actually positive thoughts, positive events. So she needs to remind herself of that. So I hope from now on she will actually do go into details of those good situations.
But a lot of the time, well, sometimes if I have if I have a whole bunch of people being rude to me, look, they gang stalkers. Cause look, and look, perps too, arm hanging out the window, Masonic, and then he's moving his arm.
Notice how when I say TI's in the danger zone, they're really in the danger zone. Those cars didn't do anything to her. If I have to assume, the only thing that happened was through voice to skull, she heard people talking trash from the direction of those cars. And the lower voice to skull is reminding her of, oh, gang stalkers, oh, perps. And that's what caused her to do that, because those cars didn't do anything. They're only driving away. So for her to label that car as a gang stalker driving the car and then a perp with the arms out the window. Now, that's another thing that's happening in the TI community that is just ridiculous. People put their arms out the window are not perps. That alone sounds crazy. It sounds so crazy. And the fact that the TIs with no proof just start labeling them as perps shows that the TI are already in the danger zone. Because if you use any critical thinking skill, you can kind of do the process of elimination. There are no proof coming from you to back up your claim that the people put their arms out the window are perps. Zero proof whatsoever. So with no proof, the best advice that I can give you TIs is don't even say anything about it. Don't even talk about it on video. So she really didn't need to say those things. But right now, she's in a state of trance. And when she's in a state of trance, she tends to just kind of operate, but without really analyzing or use critical thinking skills, because that's what happened when TIs are in a state of trance. I'm a victim of that sometimes. But as soon as you are aware of what's happening, over time it will get better for you.
Excuse me, you have change to spare for food to eat? See, he's a gang stalker too. He ignored me. I'm just playing. All right, thanks.
$1 or 10. Make sure I give you $1. I don't want to give you here. Give you 2. How about that?
Thank you. I'm sorry. I thought that you were trying to ignore me.
Now, this was the turning point that I decided to make a video for her, because this was a great example of a more of an awakening. Okay, because first she openly labeled the person as gang stalkers for ignoring her. So there alone, that is wrong, because the person is not following her. The person actually was ahead of her. But just because the person didn't really acknowledge her, she's labeling them as gang stalkers. That alone makes TI look crazy. Okay, it's just she didn't even need to say that, but she's been doing it a lot in a lot of her videos. If people walk by don't acknowledge her, she'll say, "Oh, they're rude," or some of them they'll label them as gang stalkers. She's training herself to have that behavior, so she needs to stop that behavior, because without thinking, she just kind of acts out, and those are the behaviors she really needs to stop. So she didn't need to say those things, and I'm glad the person turned around. And by turning around, she just said, "Oh, I'm just playing." I mean, obviously that's smart for her. She doesn't want any confrontation. So if she didn't want confrontation, then she shouldn't even call the person as a gang stalker to begin with. And I'm glad that person turned around and gave her some money. He offered $1, and then he offered her $2. So she said thank you. And that was a turning point, because for me, I recognize those situations, because it shows how a TI was wrong. That shows how what's going on in our mind as a TI, the stuff we think about, what's in our mind, are not always true. Notice how things change so fast. She labeled the guy as a gang stalker. In her mind, she thinks she's correct. But when the guy gave her money, she says sorry. Now she's wrong. So that proves that not everything in our mind are true. And that's the problem within the TI community is a lot of TIs, they got too much pride. They don't want to believe they're wrong. I am wrong a lot of the times. And a lot of TIs are wrong a lot of the time as well. But do you recognize these moments? And this was a good moment for Candy. And I just want to emphasize on what's going on here in this video. Now that she knows she's wrong, she needs to analyze the situation. Is it possible that she's been wrong all the other times or most of the other times? So she needs to think into that. She needs to remember this moment where she thought the person was a gang stalker, but then they helped her with $2. So now she's like, now she knows she's wrong. She needs to remember situations like this. Because these situations are what wakes the TI up. It wakes you up. It makes you realize that, wow, it's possible for you to be wrong. For me to be wrong. It's good for the TI.
Yeah, because I just had it with an older man and his wife or something, and a few other people that I dealt with. So sometimes I admit that sometimes on rare occasions, sometimes I wonder, do I react too soon? Or do I get defensive too soon sometimes? But, or
See, when she said defensive, it's not really defensive because most of the people don't even say anything bad to her. The people that she encountered are not in the offensive. So they need to be in the offensive for her to be in the defensive. So in a way, it's like, it's not even defensive. It's just, she's just overreacting and in a bad way.
if I have a false alarm, but that's rare occasions, but it happens. But at the beginning of this video, I know I saw gang stalkers. Because you ain't gonna have manipulated headlights, tail lights, brake lights.
And I have to stop this because she have bought into the idea that any problem with headlights or taillights are gang stalkers. So for you TI watching this, if you bought into that idea, you are in danger. Because you're gonna need to somehow figure a way to get yourself out of that situation. For Candy Grandpre, she have bought into the idea that missing headlights, problem taillights, problem brake lights are gang stalkers related. And if she doesn't find a way to pull herself out of that idea, she is really deep into the danger zone. And I don't know what her plans are, but she's been homeless for many years now. And I can tell she's a good person. I can tell she's a good worker too. Like she can do good work. I can tell she could be dedicated to her work. If she finds a job that she really have passion for, she can be good, really good at it. And she's letting these gang stalkers, these lower voices skull, mess with her too much. She needs to just let go of a lot of these criticism. Because a lot of TIs I notice are the criticism or the embarrassment or the humiliation. That's what's holding the TI back. And what I mean by humiliation is, in the beginning, as a TI, you believe you're being watched. You'll most likely feel embarrassed to go take a shower or take a dump or do stuff in private, having sex, things like that. And let that go. Because if you've been like in that situation for years, why are you still holding yourself back? They already seen everything, every part of your body if they're watching you. So why are you still letting that bother you? And you try to find your way back to before where no one's watching you, so you can be in the bathroom or be in private comfortably and do what you need to do comfortably. They already know, they already seen it. Let it go. That's humiliation, but accept it and just let it go. Who cares if they're watching you? Who cares if they're filming you and put it on the black market? Who cares? After all these years, you're gonna have to let that go. Don't let that bother you. And for a lot of TIs, after years and years, you're still stuck because you're letting that bother you.
Fog nights, whatever nights, or no headlights at night, or bright lights during the day and stuff, or super bright lights even at high beams at night. So I'm sorry for this guy. I apologize. I take that back. I admit I made a mistake. So um so
Notice how much problems you have when it comes to cars. People putting their arm out the window, a certain color vehicle, uh, broken taillight, broken headlights, high beam headlights, or blasting music. I mean, that's a lot of problems when it comes to cars. There are cars everywhere. Unless you want to move to a country where there's just no cars or very minimal cars, but there are cars everywhere. It looks like she's staying in a city somewhere. There's cars everywhere. And with that being said, she's got too much problems related to cars that she needs to let go. She needs to free her mind from letting those things bother her. Because if she thinks about it, so what if she can hear people yelling out of the car, people blasting music? Don't let it bother her.
I was able to get dinner to eat, and thankfully I had help. It's like it doesn't make me feel comfortable, and they try to frighten me. The fact that they think they have authority to stalk my fundraiser every day. I'm like, no wonder I have thousands of views. I have thousands of views on that fundraiser. Well, not thousands, but last I checked, it was over 2,000. It's like nothing but the gang stalkers. I'm like, y'all sad and pathetic. And then it said Candy doesn't need a gang. I mean, Candy doesn't need a Candy. Oh, they got tinted windows. Candy doesn't need a fund.
Now it's also tinted windows. So if I actually list all the problems you have with cars, that's a long list. She's gonna need to find a way to let all that problem go. It's holding her back.
Well, you don't have that authority to make that determination. And another thing I want to say that well earlier I had a narcissistic abuse and flying monkey. I had a narcissistic abuse and flying monkey kind of gang stalking situation earlier that I couldn't put it on film. I didn't put it on film, but I did another quick video talking about it. And then they had some other people who were rude jerks. So if I see hundreds of faces downtown, how am I supposed to remember what your face looked like? How am I supposed to remember what your face looks like?
Now, as you're watching this, she makes multiple videos throughout the day, from what I've seen from her playlist. So that tells me she spends all day bothered by these gang stalkers in her mind. So the lower voice to skull is really got a firm grip on her because she easily buys into these ideas. And throughout the whole day, as she walks around, she's labeling plenty of people as gang stalkers. So now she must need to realize something here. I'm gonna put it out like it is. What does she want out of this? Does she want to change her life around and no longer be homeless? Or does she want to continue being homeless and try to get money every day by day, live on the street day by day, and every day filming gang stalkers? Because so far, nothing is really happening to her other than once in a while she gets into some maybe some argument with people, or she believes that people are narcissists the way they talk to her, or she's finding problems online, right? The online perks, like she labeled. So she's letting all these things into her life to bother her. Let all that stuff go, and she will feel so much better. But since it's so firmed into her life, it's got a firm hold on her life. Every day she's making movies talking about gang stalkers. She needs to stop that and take her mind away from all that. And she needs to find a place that can provide her work, also a decent place to live. And the only thing I can think of is maybe finding a church. Go to a church and ask them politely if you can do work for them. Because I'm sure they can find some type of work for her. In exchange, she can get maybe a little bit of money and also a decent place to stay around the church. Maybe even she could, maybe they'll donate a tent, like a tent to her, so she can set up a little tent on the back, on the side of the church, live in the tent, at least got some cover. Do that for 6 months to a year, save some money. Like, she needs to do that. She can't just constantly living on the street and wake up, go ask for money, just get enough money to get some food, go ask for money, film gang stalkers. I mean, there needs to be a change in her life. And I hope by me making this video, it can change her, or at least make her realize something needs to change in her life. Even a small part of her life can change. And she needs to find a place that will pay her money for working. And the only place I can really think of is going to a church. And if the first church said no to her, she can go to the next church. And if all the churches in her area she gone to, they all say no, well, you know what? The next stage, start all over. Because I got a feeling if you go to the same church, even though they say no the first 5 times, the 6th time, I got a feeling they're gonna actually give you something to do. It's just the way it is. She must do something like that to get herself off the street. And she needs to stop letting what other people say bother her, because it's really bothering her, and she kept thinking about it, kept talking about it. She's not letting it go. At the same time, every car she sees, she thinks it's a gang stalker. You first need to let the car thing go one step at a time. Start letting the cars, the vehicle, the colors, people putting arms out, tinted windows, bad headlights, tail lights, too high of a headlight. Let all that stuff go. I always teach the audience that if no one is talking trash directly to your face within arm's length, ignore it. Because a lot of the times you might be looking at a car as a TI, and the car is just driving by, and you might hear some gang stalker yelling out of the car. That is not the people driving the car. It's voice to skull. That is voice to skull. But for the TI that don't know it, they would actually believe the gang stalkers are screaming out of the car. All right, everybody. So that was a video for Candy Grandpre. And I hope she watches this live, and I hope that she can not get too upset and think more positively that I'm trying to help her. I know it's difficult to listen to somebody else talk about how wrong you are, or how you've been wrong the entire time. And it's not a good feeling. I understand it's not a good feeling. But I'm just trying to help her, and I hope she can understand that part, because it seems like every day she's just going through the same thing. And when she's going through the same thing, something's got to change for her to get herself out of the situation. She can't possibly be going to walk the street and then ask for money and use the money to buy food and continuing doing over and over again. How long is she going to be doing that? Something's got to change. And I just hope she can start doing that and find a way to not live on the street no more and find herself a job. She can get a job and work for 1 year, save some money. Just 1 year. She can get herself a place to live on her own, or maybe find another job that pays better. Maybe find herself a significant other. Maybe she can establish a relationship with her family again. Because right now, from her video, she's not having a good relationship with her family. And, having your family there is very important, because your family are the ones that will tell you these reality checks. Like, they might not always be right and they don't understand the TI, but regardless, you still need someone to give you some reality check, and families are the one that will tell you stuff like that. But it seems like TI's majority of them will actually believe the family's involved, and the family are actually out there getting paid to gang stalk them. And that is just really the viewer bad for a TI in that situation. Really bad. So I posted the link, and I hope someone will actually join in on this. And if no one wants to join in, then I guess I will end the stream. And Brandon Q says the program, this isn't spirit. Well, Brandon, I got to tell you, I was there. I used to believe it is the program. But I don't know how your life situation is, but based off of mine. See, I don't do anything that would put me in a situation where they would stalk me. And that's how it doesn't make sense for me in my own mind, is because I don't sell drugs. I don't do anything like that. It just, why would this be happening to me? And that doesn't make sense to me whatsoever. I used to believe these pigeons were actually drones, because I would hear the gang stalkers above me on top of a building. When they're on top of me talking trash from above, and when I look up, all I see were just pigeons. And it makes so much sense. And like, okay, like Brandon said, I don't do anything. What do you think I do? See, I don't know what your situation, and that's why it doesn't make sense to me. All I can do is look at my situation, and it just didn't make sense. I was believing it's a program, it's the government. Even my gang stalker through Voice to Skull tell me it's they are remote viewers, they are CIA, they are 5-0. They even told me that they were artificial intelligence. They told me all this stuff that would confuse me. And I mean, okay, to me, that just sounds, they're lying for sure, because they're telling me they're all this thing. So they're definitely lying about their identity. And I'm trying to think, if it is the government, how much money are they spending on me? Even though it's true that they can print money whenever they want, they can print money. But to me, it just doesn't sound efficient to be hiring people out in public to do this. And it's not efficient. It's not productive. And another question I have is, when I notice some TI have been targeted for 30 years, 40 years, that just don't make sense, because why would they get targeted for 40 years? What outcome is the government, the program, trying to get out of it? And what they're doing, it's like, it's sick, it's perverted. But it's not so perverted to a point where they can use that money to do something else that's more violent or more extreme or more deprived of lives or more just more of a adrenaline driven type of situation. Like they could use that money and make any situation they want. But I don't see why they would spend it on people to follow target individual and just make them feel like they're scared and just want to stay inside. Like to me, that just don't add up. And yes, I agree they are trying to kill people. Yes, I absolutely agree that. Absolutely, they're trying to kill people. And these gang stalkers, okay, like Brandon Q, you have some really bad gang stalkers. Like your gang stalkers are dumpster stains. And my gang stalkers are dumpster stains. So we both have shitty gang stalkers. And everyone's gang stalkers are garbage. Everyone. Because if they're not garbage, we wouldn't be in this situation. We wouldn't feel the way we feel. But just because we're in this situation, we got to do what we got to do. And that's why I'm trying to help other TIs to be more positive, because these shitty gang stalkers are already really shitty. So if we're not trying to stay positive on our own, it's too much negative. And no one can withstand this much negative in life. Nobody. And so we must, as TI, we must do what we can to think positive. And I enjoy talking trash to my gang stalker only because I receive lower voice to skull. So I like to use voice to skull to talk shit back to them. And they always acknowledge me. But to a non-TI, not experiencing voice to skull, they're going to see this as schizo. Okay? But that is not schizo. But I'm not going to get into argument with that, because only if a person going through voice to skull will understand that the voices are not his or her own. And for someone like me, 30 plus years, never had this happen, all of a sudden voices come in, I can tell it's not my voice. And I can tell, like a normal conversation with a group of people, that who's talking. But in this situation, I just don't see them, but I'm receiving it. That's exactly how voice to skull, what the experience is like. You can tell they're different voices from different people, but you don't see the people. And you know it's like identifying a group of people that you're talking to if there was a group of people in front of you. It's the same concept. If you have 5 people sitting in front of you and you close your eyes, you can have an idea who's talking, in what direction they're talking, with your eyes closed. So that's exactly how voice to skull works. You're hearing different voices from different directions, but they're not your own voices, and they're actually interacting with you. You can talk to them, they can respond. To me, I don't have much good conversation. I just talk shit to them because I don't like them. And they're also my gang stalkers. I talk shit to them using voice to skull, and that shuts them up. That really shuts them up. And even for UTIs, if you are not experiencing voice to skull, it doesn't hurt for you to try just using your mind to talk trash back to them and get a reaction. See what happens. Next time you walk by someone on the street you believe is a gang stalker, use your mind to talk trash. Do that for a while and try to see if you can get them to respond to you. Because they're going to try to not respond because they want you to be where you are, not knowing that it's voice to skull, not knowing that they're doing it in the direction of other people. And once they respond, and once you realize that, you just elevated yourself, and you just realize now there's more options for you to really balance the situation. Because when I talk trash to my gang stalker, they shut up. I mean, a few of them will try to be tough and they'll talk some shit back, but I would talk shit even more and they'll shut up. But as soon as I stop thinking about them, they'll slowly come back in and talking more shit. So they're really annoying assholes like that. All gang stalkers, they go through the same freaking tactic. I know your garbage dumpster gang stalkers are probably doing the same tactic, but they unfold as your experience progresses as a target individual. And I really don't like gang stalkers. I don't like your gang stalkers. I don't like my gang stalkers. So as TI, just need to stay strong and get together. And hopefully we can bring this awareness to the world. Basically, this is what it is. These gang stalkers been there for a long time. They've been there for a long freaking time.
And if we can get the awareness out, we can actually have something to go against them. Because one thing I realized is they don't like people talking trash to them. And they don't want people to know of their existence. So the more people know, the better. And what sucks about this whole situation is they have the ability. Hey, thank you, Bluffy. They have the ability to induce thought into people that are not even targets. That's why when you talk to your family or your people you kind of get a feeling like, oh, why are they answering me like this? How come they're not understanding where I'm coming from? Why are they saying this? Why are they going against me? They're going against you. A lot of times it's because these gang stalkers are inducing thoughts into their mind, making them answer a certain way. And usually when you're arguing, it gets heated because they're also messing with our energy flow, our blood flow. So we get agitated and we get become more confrontational. We tend to argue with each other. And next thing you know, both sides are arguing back and forth and people get irritated and people slamming doors, people walking away. And when that keeps happening over and over again, naturally, the TI is going to start developing this negative feeling towards that person, usually as a family member. So as a TI, you're going to need to stop and don't let that happen to you. Don't develop no negative feeling towards your family. They're saying things that you don't understand that are against what you believe in is because the gang stalkers are using voice to scald, okay? Lower voice to scald to induce these thoughts into their mind and make them think differently from what you're thinking. That's why it's important to be able to explain things in details, to be as precise and to be as accurate as possible. If you see gang stalking on the street, don't just point out and say gang stalking. You're going to have to explain step by step how and why you label them as gang stalkers. Because one tactic the gang stalker like to use is make your mind believe that what you're seeing is gang stalkers, but yet they also make you too tired to explain because they're taking away your essence, your air, your breath. Kind of makes you feel like, oh, I'm too tired. I don't want to explain it. But those are gang stalkers, or doesn't make you want to think too much because you try to think of an idea deeply in an idea, but they also tell you, oh, I'm kind of tired right now. I'll just do it tomorrow. I'll just think about it after I go to sleep. I'll do it in the morning. But in the morning comes, you're not going to remember. So these gang stalkers love to make your mind, make you think you're too tired to think these deep thoughts. And the tinnitus is also yapping in your ear, making you can't fall asleep. When I recognized I was having trouble sleeping, the way for me to battle it is I just close my eyes. Well, my eyes were closed, but I try to imagine a pitch black room, so black where I can't even see my hand, or a pitch white wall where everything's just so white I can't even see my hand. And that worked. I did that for a few minutes and it worked for me. So those of you out there who can't sleep, you should try that as well. Oh, definitely frequency. I like to play some frequency as well. But here's the thing, though. They would tell me to play frequency, certain frequency to mess with them, But in a way that certain frequency, it's actually helping them talk louder. So it's like, it just, I think the frequency to play is in the lower numbers, like 1 hertz, 2 hertz, or 0.5 hertz, 0.05 hertz. We can't hear it because there's actually an experiment, okay? I did research, I forgot what it's called, but they actually did an experiment where they only play these low frequency, right? In the very low, like not even 1 hertz. And they did it for 50 minutes in front of this, in an auditorium in front of these people. So the people were wondering what the heck, there's really no sound going on, right? Because it's such a low frequency. But then they start feeling sick. People in there were starting to feel sick. And then, so it doesn't affect the people. And I think they're feeling sick is because the gang stalker or that's in the building is not liking the frequency. That's my belief. Can I prove it? No, I can't. So I'm just throwing out this theory, but I can't prove it. But that's what it said in the article. People are getting sick after 40 minutes of playing at a less than 1 hertz frequency. And TI News said, hey, developer. I don't think developer is in here. But yeah. So I just want to make a video for Candy Grandpre. And I feel bad for her, living on the street for all these years. And she needs to change her life a little bit. And hopefully she can get a job, do that for a year or two, find her a place for her to live, and then go get her own place, maybe find a boyfriend or, someone that also have a job. So the two of them can build a future together, have kids, family, whatever she wants to do. But she's missing the positive in her life, and she's going to need to find those positives somehow, because a person cannot go through life with all these negative shit happening. They just can't. It's too much. Too much. Now, with that being said, I post a link, but if no one wants to join, I'm going to I'm just gonna play one of my previous video. I mean, you guys can watch it if you want, or you don't have to, but it's up to you. And yeah, the link will be here. Maybe someone will join, maybe no one will join, but here we go. Oops, sorry. My bad. We just watched this video. Sorry about that. Next video. Sorry. So if any of you want to join on this live, just click on the link and talk about game stalking. It's all good. Let's do that. Because, these gang stalkers, terrible. Terrible people they are. Okay.
That I'm not affiliated with any person in this video. I am doing this for education purpose only, and there's no monetary gain whatsoever. So please enjoy the video. Hi everybody, I'm 7th Hanuman. Today, I will show you something very special. I will enlighten all of you as I will give you a glimpse into true truth of gang stalking. Please watch this video from beginning to end, because you do not want to miss any of this information. And for those of you TIs out there who are inexperienced with what I'm about to show you, please take a moment and slow down your thoughts. Do your own due diligence. Research before making hateful comments. This information is unlike any other in the TI community. Please stay tuned, as we're almost at video 40. That's when I will show you the faces of your gang stalkers. So let's begin. I want to pause here. Take a look at the background. You see that mountain right there? Notice that mist, the grayish tint filter? That is what I call electric mist. And I will make reference to the background and how you can identify the electric mist. So I will start this documentary off with Elon Musk. He's sitting there in a round table chat. Usual, just common, normal. But now look at this. If you look at these 6 people, what do you notice? Well, if you pay attention to the guy on the left side in the middle, if you look at him, do you notice some whitish, grayish tint type of mist next to his face? I'm going to zoom in on that right here. Notice that tint on the right side of his face. You see it? This is something you want to pay attention to. And here's a photo of me from last week. Notice it on my right side of my face, how that mist looking tint is there. And now this is a survivor contestant. Notice his right side of his face. Notice that whitish tint. Here's a YouTube content creator. Notice it in his background in the upper right corner. Here is another content creator. Notice above his head that mist grayish color. And here it's another content creator. I want to make sure I'm showing you guys this. When I recorded this was in 1080p HD. And notice how dense that mist is inside her car with her. Here's a photo of an interview. Notice behind the lady on the upper right corner, you see the same mist. Here's a YouTube content creator saying, notice the mist is all around his head. Here's another content creator. Notice the mist in the background by the window. Notice the mist inside the car of this lady. Here's another one. This one is really dense and concentrated. Look at how heavy the mist is by the light. It's very concentrated. To me, that just means there's a lot inside this room. Notice above her head, the same thing. This is a YouTube content creator, and notice the same. The mist is right behind him. And in front of him. Here's another one. Now pay attention to the car, to the light. Now, do you see it? You see the mist? Everything looks clear until a certain angle when the sun hits it. Sorry, everybody. Now this is a music video. Tadao. Notice this guy's head. Notice above him there's the same mist. So this is actually in a music video. Now here's a parking lot scene. Now this parking lot, notice how it's everywhere inside this parking lot. Here we go, another train station scene. Notice right here in front where the lights are, notice how concentrated this mist is. It's on the entire platform of this train station. Here's a video of an explorer. Now, as he walked into this abandoned building, look at this mist inside the building right here by the window. See that? I hope you're actually starting to understand. Okay, here's one of Justin Timberlake in this music video, and this mist actually moved towards his head. Here's a different perspective, one that's chilling inside of a shed or outdoor storage place, barn. Look at it, how it's just like chilling there. Now let's zoom in on it. Look at it. It's just hanging out. And this mist, if you zoom in even closer, look at this photo. Look at it. It looks like there's squares and rectangles and lines. It's almost like a simulation, like a computer, something that's computer and it was created, but it's just chilling there. And I see squares and lines and rectangles like stack on top of each other. So that to me just tells me something very advanced, and I believe it's us humans, we have not even reached to that level yet of understanding what's going on. And like I always tell you guys, the gang stalkers are in charge of the entire world. The gang stalkers runs all the government. And I also tell you guys, everybody's a TI because everybody can be manipulated by these gang stalkers. But don't be confused. What I'm showing you now, Electric Mist, they are not the gang stalkers. But I believe this is where that directed energy weapon attack it's caused by this electric mist. Here's a night shot of my driveway of this light, and notice how concentrated this mist is. Here's a zoom in. Look at it. Look how dense that is. There's a lot of mist right there, but it's the entire space. Okay, here it's a portable that I have on this property, and I went in there one night and I decided to take some photos, and notice how the white mist is inside the portable. Looks eerie, right? Now notice how it spreads out. It looks like it's spread out across the room. Now, based on my personal experience and research, I've seen with my own eyes in footage, this mist, it looks spread out, but I've seen it come together and shape shift into a human ghost figure. And then it shape shift back into this mist and just kind of spread out. So I believe this mist can actually come together and become more concentrated, and you would actually be able to see a shape of a person if it wants to show you. Because I have seen it on my property 5, 6, 7, 8 times. Literally. Not over 10 times, but 5 to 10 times I've seen this white ghost here on my property. And let me tell you, they are fast. Why are they fast? Well, you'll see here. I'll explain to you. Now pay attention to the middle of the screen. See that flying across from right to left? See that object flying right there in the middle of the screen now? It's going really fast, covering a lot of distance. I'm going to zoom in on it. Watch. From right to left. Here we go. See how fast that thing's moving? This is during a Japanese earthquake tsunami. Now, earthquake tsunami in 2011. Now, this entity, I've seen it move very fast, and I believe it uses the wind. So it's kind of like going along with the wind. That's what I believe in. Can I prove it? No, I can't. But I know it has energy. It can go against the wind, but they don't have energy to do it consistently or constantly, but they can do it for temporarily, and or they could just go along with the wind and just let the wind take it, because it's light. It's very light. So even if by me walking by it, I believe it actually just walking by it is enough wind for it to carry it further than ahead of me. If that make any sense.
As soon as
Here's another very famous video during the same earthquake tsunami in Japan. And what you're about to see is exactly what I've seen on my property a few times. You see this ghost, human-shaped looking thing jump out of the water, and it went up to the rooftop. And it disappeared. Now, I believe what's going on there is these mists, if they focus and concentrate and gather together, it's like combining energy, and that's what created the ability to actually go against the wind, against the water current, and just go straight up onto the rooftop to get itself out of danger. And then once it was out of danger, it spread out. So it's like no longer using their energy. You see what I'm saying? Because they use the wind to move. So all of a sudden they need to go a direction was kind of against the wind. That's when they come together and use their energy and combine energy and just to jump up. And once they get onto the roof, now they spread apart to conserve energy and just use the wind. It's like letting go of the gas pedal of your cars to kind of just let it cruise so you don't burn as much gas. Same effect. And you will only step on the gas pedal again if you need to go faster. Try to pass the yellow light before it turns red. Notice how it was concentrated as soon as it jumped high enough. I think it was high enough to get to another building. It immediately separated to conserve energy. There's a definition of mist. So mist and fog, the only two difference are just the distance of visibility. So with mist, you can see further than fog.
Look how eerie that looks. See that? The guy on the tractor. Okay, where did he go? Where's the guy on the tractor? Okay. As he's moving along, see that? See the mist is around him? See, the mist is around the guy. But his perspective, his point of view would look just like this. Kind of clear. Notice how clear? But look at the mist. It's all around him. And that's not dust from the tractor. I mean, there is dust, but the mist is also there. Hey guys, so right now is 3:30 p.m. I made a video this morning at 9 a.m. And now look at these electric mist. It's still there. Not as strong as this morning, but it's still there. See that? See that mist? You see the mist? It's been 6.5 hours. The mist is just chilling. But if you look over to the mountain, it's a lot stronger. See that? But just to remind you, it looks like it's far away, but it's not. It's all around me right now. So don't be fooled. It looks like it's in the distance, but it's not. It's actually next to me, and it's next to you. Look at that. Now, this footage, it stretched for literally 50 miles of these mists. But notice how as I'm driving into the mist, everything looks clear. But in the distance, it looks like you can't see anything, or you can barely see anything. But as I'm driving into it, it's clear. This footage, it was the next day. I was driving home from work. It was somewhere in the afternoon. And this day, it was very heavy. This mist was heavy. And like I always tell you guys, there's more ghosts on this planet than living humans. And they are everywhere. Now, I will show you around the globe of the electric mist. And it's there every day in plain sight. Here's a photo of Antarctica. Look in the background. Same mist. So it's from there all the way to the front of the camera. Here's Norvik, Alaska, this town. Look at the mist. It's everywhere. Here's Fraser, British Columbia, Canada. Look at the mist. Pay attention to the background. Here's another photo of a skier doing tricks. Look at the mountains. Look how dense that mist is.
Here's a photo of Breheimen National Park in Norway. Here's another photo from a different vantage point. And look how far this mist is. Here, these Alaskan islands, you see the mist right there where each island has. Okay, here's another photo of Antarctica with some penguins, but look at the background. Look at that mist. Here's a image in Colorado, and just pay attention to the background. Look at the mountain in the mist. Independence, California. Look on both sides of this valley. The mist is on both sides. Here's a Mesones, Muro, Peru. See that in the background? In this photo in South Africa. So it's important to also realize, I had someone made a comment about humidity. And at first I thought about that as well. Humidity. And so I did some research looking into it, and I started to notice, okay, well, higher humidity and lower humidity, like near the equator, and higher humidity, in the North and South Pole. So I decided to look at those areas, and that's why I try to get a good perspective on all these different places with different humidities. And this electric mist is there. Here's the Sahara Desert in Egypt. Notice how the mist is in the background and it's not a sandstorm, because look how clear the front is. And look at the background. It's mist. Here's the Yosemite National Park, California. Same thing, electric mist. Here's a looking out from a watchtower at the Great Wall of China. And you notice the mist. Here's a zoom in view. Look at the mountains. Look at the background of these mountains. The same thing. Somewhere else in China, I believe, near the Great Wall. Strong mist. Here's Africa, Central Africa, and you see the same mist, and there's low humidity there. Here's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. High humidity, same mist. This is somewhere in Mexico, and you see the same thing. This mist is everywhere. Here's Panama. Spokane, Washington. Here's a rope walker in Yosemite. Notice this mist is just everywhere, and it's something that people needs to pay attention to, because I know where you live, you have the same thing, but you just never pay attention to it. Look at this. It's 360 degrees everywhere. Mexico City, Mexico. Houston, Texas. Colombia. Now notice how dense this mist is. Certain location, I notice, have more concentrated mist. And usually these are the locations with a long history of civilization, uh, really old cultures, or places that are more um, ancient. Places like that, like even in Europe, Europe has really strong mist because I believe Europe there's just lots of ghosts there. And so the older the location, I've noticed, the heavier the mist. And they don't just linger there; they actually migrate. They move. They can actually migrate and move. It's almost like an army of ghosts will just go into a region for maybe a day or two, who knows? And some will leave and some will stay. And they are just everywhere. There's an image in Greenland. Notice way back there in those mountains, same myths. This is a screenshot of the gang stalking documentary from Vice News. Notice everywhere by the RV. Here's an aerial shot. Notice how far this mist reach out into the mountains. And usually, I'll tell you, from my experience, the mountains are the most haunted places. And there's Las Vegas. Look at the background. Here's another shot of Las Vegas. Look at the background. See the mist? Everywhere you go, they are there. There's no way for you to get away from it because it's already basically it reaches every square inch of earth, I believe, even out in the ocean. Now, do you start to notice the pattern? How this is practically on every continent, and that's why I always tell you what's going on with gang stalking. It's the gang stalkers are advanced, but there's just not enough information in researching about them because what we're experiencing, okay, some of us TIs whom are receiving voice to skull, that experience itself is the same as a paranormal medium, a psychic medium, one of those medium that can hear spirits. What they're that action, that experience alone is the same as a TI receiving voice to skull. But the difference of these two is just the ghost itself. So if a group of ghosts are nice and they're just communicating like normal, then that TI would go through the experience of more peaceful elevation of just believing it's just a psychic medium. If the ghost is really bad and bully like, then the TI would start experiencing what TIs in the gang stalking community would experience, which is a lot of fear and confusion and drifting in life, basically, and attacks. So it all depends on the group of ghosts that's communicating with the target. So if us TIs we actually have a good experience, then we would most likely don't even think of this as gang stalking. We will see it as we are enlightened people we're psychic mediums. That's what V2K is. And in one of my videos, I mentioned that we are being targeted because we can hear voice to skull. We can hear it very well. And for those of you TIs out there whom are just in the earlier stage and have not experienced or understand voice to skull, well, I already explained how to identify it in my videos. And that's just my method, and it works for me. That's how I have my experience. And most likely it will work the same for you, but I don't know if it will. But you are receiving voice to skull. But those bully gang stalking ghosts just have not revealed itself to you yet. Because by keeping you in the dark of not knowing you're receiving voice to skull, you're actually going to believe your own thoughts or all yours. Now, don't be scared, okay, if the thoughts are yours or not. All you have to do is identify if they're positive or negative thoughts. If they're negative thoughts, you're in charge, you're in control, you're in the driver's seat. You can stop those negative thoughts as soon as it comes in. And that takes practice. So if it's a positive thought that'll benefit your life and people around you, or make you do good things, make you more successful and not hurt anyone or inflict no pain to other people, then those positive thoughts, you should just let it in. Just let those thoughts, positive thoughts in. But if you're having negative thoughts, then you can practice on blocking the negative thoughts. And it's not going to just all of a sudden you're going to get good at it in a month or two. It's going to take time. It's going to take years. It's going to be a lifelong thing that you have to do. And it'll get easier. So just no fear mentality. That's the number one thing you have to remember. No fear. Okay, now, so some of you might think, oh, that is just chemtrail residue, right? All the chemtrail in the sky and how it spreads over the sky and it comes down and just chilling there, just chemtrail. And chemtrail just being blown all over the planet. Or, oh, space debris, like blowing up satellites and all that debris just falling back down onto Earth, and now just kind of all these little particles, right? All the human industry, like making products, recycling, and all the fire, a bunch of random stuff. Basically, all these human created particles stuck on this planet. I mean, that's what some of you skeptics out there would most likely use as an argument. And I thought about the same thing. And that's when I started to think about, okay, I need to research further back in time and let's see if it's there. Because if I say, if you go back in time 200 years ago, would you agree that there's no chemtrail 200 years ago? Would you agree that 200 years ago there was no industrial manufacturing plant creating all these products, releasing all these like byproduct chemical into the sky, and no satellite to shoot down, so there's no space debris everywhere. So 200 years ago, would you agree that there shouldn't be chemtrail, none of these particles? So when I looked into it, and this is what I found. Now this is a photo from Ansel Adams, he's a famous photographer from Soledad, California, 1958. Notice the mist in the background in 1958. And you can tell it's the mist because of that tint. It's like a layer, like a strange grayish filter. Here's a Golden Gate before the bridge from Ansel Adams. And look in the far distance of those mountains. Look in the middle. And I'm going to zoom in. See the mist? You still see the mist on that mountain way in the distance. Here's a photo of World War II, 1945. Notice the mist in the background. It's a 1930s Poland. Just people waiting in line. And notice the mist. It's all over the street. Here's another photo from Ansel Adams, 1930s, Owens Valley. Look in the background. Notice all that mist in the background. Here's 1920s downtown Los Angeles. Look down the street. You see the mist? It's 1920s San Diego. Look at the mountains. You see the mist? This is 1929. I believe this guy was working on a building, skyscraper in New York. Look at the mist. Here's a Central Park. And look how concentrated the mist is on that day, or was on that day. It's an early 1900 photo. Look at the building in the background. Notice that layer of mist. Now we're going back into the late 1900s now. Notice the mist in the background. Here's a painting from 1955. Even the artist of this painting was able to see the mist in the background. Notice this mist right here in the middle, this filter, this grayish, bluish filter. Here's a 1938 London. Now this is actually a photo. Look at the background, the trees. See the layer of mist? Here's 1838 Boulevard du Temple in Paris, France. Look down the street. See the mist? Now, so those were the earliest photos. So what's beyond that, what's earlier than that is just drawings, paintings. And now if you look at this painting from the 1700s, this scenic painting, notice the background of the mountains, the same mist. Now I can comfortably believe that during that time there was no chemtrails. During that time there was no space debris, and during that time there was no giant industrial plant making things all day long. During that time, that mist is still there. Here's a different painting, 1700s. Look at the background. See the mist in the background? Here's a classical landscape scene from Italy, 1700s. And look far in the background, the distance. Same mist. Here's another one. Look at that port. Look at the mist all over the port. And notice how this artist, the way the artist painted this, notice how in the closer to the artist, it's very clear. Just like the same perspective that I was showing you, how it looks clear in front of me, but when I zoom into the distance, it was grayish tint. Same here in this painting, how clear. So this artist at the time was seeing the same thing, that is clear in front of him, but in the distance, there was a grayish tint, a mist. But in reality, this mist is actually everywhere, even around the artist. Just like how in that video I was driving to work and you can see the mist very strong up ahead, but as I get to that spot, it looks clear. Same concept. Same thing in 1600s. There's 1600s in France, or the artist is 1600 France. But here's another one from the 1500s. Notice the background. That mist is still there. And these artists back then, they were able to see with their eyes. And that's why after watching this video, when you go outside, pay attention to it. Look far into the distance. The best way to identify is when there's a backdrop, like a mountain, because that creates the contrast But if you live somewhere, let's say, with just no mountain, just all like flat land, then it might be harder for you to see it. But if you pay attention to it, you'll start being able to identify it, because I'm sure you can see it at home in your house. If you just turn on the light tends to be able to shine through it or identify it. So if you're a true TI and you're watching this because you are dealing with gang stalking, you're gonna see this inside your home. But you just, maybe you notice it, but you don't know what it is, so you don't put much thought into it. And now, after watching this video, I hope, well, actually, I don't even hope, I already know that you will start identifying it, because I just planted a seed into your mind. And this seed is not a bad seed, because these are facts. I'm showing you facts. I'm showing you things that you can see with your own eyes. So there's no speculation. There's no who it is, what it is, if it is. What I'm showing you are real facts that you see with your own eyes. And you have it in your home. I have it in my home. The whole world's got this. And I know it might seem kind of hard to accept the information right now for some of you, but it's okay. As long as you are getting this information, it will help you, because it'll help you click later on when you experience something else and there's just something just clicks in your head, and all of a sudden these things start making sense. And I know a lot of TIs out there, you're not as fortunate to be able to see a ghost in white on your property, because they don't really show themselves. That's why throughout the history, these ghosts are able to be under the radar, because they don't really show themselves. But here on my property, I've seen it with my own eyes. And they can move. And they can touch and grab onto things. And you just need to remember, no fear. Because if you want to defend yourself, and you want to maybe even create offensive attack on them, you are stronger because you actually have a body. They are one up on you because you don't know what they are. But now that I share with you, now all of a sudden I just given you extra defense, because it correlates with what I'm telling you in my videos, that they are in the physical world. They're in the physical, right? The gang stalkers are in the physical. But don't get confused. What I'm showing you right now, I don't believe they're the gang stalkers, even though they have the ability like the gang stalkers. But I believe this ghost entity is being controlled by the gang stalkers. And the gang stalkers, I will show you in video 40. And going back to my videos of how I share, oh, you can slap your gang stalkers, right? Yes, you can slap your gang stalkers. And yes, if these ghosts like to show themselves, you can also slap it. They're always around you, so you can slap it. But let me tell you, they are everywhere. And they travel with you. And how do they travel with you? They anchor themselves into your clothing. You wear a shirt, you wear pants. Well, when you put that pants on, the shirt on, they're already, imagine a thin layer surrounding your whole body, and it's already coated your whole body as you put the pants on, and you put your shirt on. And so they're already inside your garment, but then they're also on the outside of your garment. And one of the main spot they like to really clamp onto you is inside your lungs. So now imagine, like, you know how that mist, it's like air, it's like everywhere. You only saw it in the photo, right? So if you didn't see that in the photo, in the photos I show you, you probably wouldn't think anything of it. But since it's a shapeshifter, it can spread itself and come together. It's able to go into your lungs. As you inhale, it can actually go into your lungs. And as you exhale, it can actually come back out. And if you inhale with your nose, it can go up through your nostril. Or it can, if you plug both, you're wearing a mask, right? Most of us are wearing masks. You put a mask on, it can still get inside through your ears. Because in your ears, there's actually a passage to your nose. I know it's weird, but they can actually still get in through your ears, or they can just even hang out inside your ears. Yes, I know it sounds strange. And it took me over 2 years until this day. I'm still, when I talk about it, it's still out of this world. But that's just what it is. I mean, look at any insect on the ground. Aren't they kind of out of this world? When you look at an insect, I mean, when 100 years ago, we talk about flying in the sky, that just sounded like out of the world. But now we have planes, we can fly in the sky. Same goes for this. The world's been kept in the dark. And now I'm showing you a path. And this path will get broader and broader as we move forward into the future, because more people is going to be jumping onto this path and walking along it. And they are going to share their knowledge and their information, because it's just, it's almost feel like it's pre-written. Like events are pre-written and they're going to unfold like the way they were written. Here's a photo, 1830s Germany. Look down this street. Notice the mist. So this is 1830. This is 200 years ago. Look at the mist. It's still there. And like I said, notice how clear it is in the front. See, if it's really heavy fog, you wouldn't be able to take a photo like this. Like the heavy fog, you take a photo and you see the fog really up close. But notice how clear near the camera, and as you go away from the camera, you notice the mist. Now, this is going to be a bonus footage I'm going to show you guys. And if you're still watching this video now, good for you. Because as a TI, you have a responsibility to spread the message around the world. And I will lead you to your goal. And you don't have to change your career, but at least the people you interact with, you can actually spread a message, a positive message, and actually let them know what's happening. Let them know why people commit suicide. I'll tell you, I'll share something with you. I believe all suicides are not caused by the individual, but are manipulated by these spirits. Now, and I say this is because I'll tell you this. A person, do not sit there and think about how to kill themselves. A person do not sit there and then try to write a manuscript or write a what was that word? Manifesto about why they want to kill themselves, and this is their last message to their family. I mean, to sit there with a piece of paper and a pen to write that out, to think that out, a person would not do this. But a person can be manipulated into doing it if there was something else telling the person. So a person watching TV is not going to start all of a sudden being consumed by suicidal thoughts. A person that's going to work will not start being consumed by suicidal thoughts or have random suicidal thoughts throughout the day. Even when we're struggling in life, we still won't have suicidal thoughts because that's not within our nature to kill ourselves. Like, we are designed to survive. And there are people out there who are vulnerable where they just don't understand that when they receive suicidal thoughts, they're just being attacked by these evil entities. And all the person's got to do is put some energy into it and block out those negative thoughts. And it's also good to tell yourself something positive after you block it. Because if you don't do anything and you're receiving these thoughts, this evil entity is going to realize that your mind is weak. And this evil entity is going to manipulate your mind. And whenever this entity sends you thoughts, that individual receiving it, if the mind is weak, is going to believe it's his or her own thoughts. And this entity will never show itself because as long as it doesn't reveal its voice to skull, that individual receiving these messages would just believe it's him or her thinking about killing him or herself. But as soon as the entity reveals itself through voice to skull, then that individual would know, whoa, someone else is telling me to kill myself, instead of being that person thinking about killing him or herself. You see the difference? So that's why these evil spirits, they prefer not to reveal themselves through voice to skull, because they've already been talking to you through voice to skull, and you've already been listening to them, and you've been thinking that the way that they want you to think, and you've been believing, or actually not even believing, you actually don't even realize a lot of those negative thoughts, right? I would say all negative thoughts are not your thoughts. If the information clicked, what I just told you, once it clicked in your mind, you have gotten so much better against these entities. But if the information I just shared with you have not clicked in your mind yet, it's okay. It might click tomorrow. It might click next month or next year. But once now the information's in your mind, your defense have gotten stronger. You might not understand it, but I understand it. And right now, if you're thinking, if during this whole video you've been doubting me, you've been going against what I'm saying, you've been playing the devil's advocate, that is because that spirit, that gang stalker next to you, don't like what I'm sharing with you. That's why you're receiving negative thoughts. You see, I do not get money for making these videos. My passion is driven by what I experience in gang stalking. And I know what I know, and I have a responsibility to share with the community. And if I want to make money off of YouTube, gang stalking is the worst, one of the worst subject to make money on YouTube. That's a fact. If I want to make money on YouTube, I wouldn't pick gang stalking. I'll pick top 10 best places to vacation, top 10 best TV, top 10 best newest gadgets, unboxing the newest Samsung, unboxing the newest Sony, unboxing the newest, most expensive items, or getting a Louis Vuitton bag every week, film it, and return it. There's way better subjects out there to make money. If I want to make money on YouTube, I don't need to start a gang stalking channel to try to get subscribers and make money. No one's paying me. You guys are not paying me. Definitely no government's paying me. But why do you believe it's the government? It's because it's working against you. The spirits are telling you this and you're falling for it. It's okay. I was there. But I'm out of it. And now I'm trying to show you guys the path. Now this next footage, it's by chance that I stumble upon it, because anyone that's watching that footage will not realize what they saw, or will not even able to identify it. But I can, because I've experience in identifying these things. And this is a very important footage. It's a lady at the beach filming, doing a selfie video. And, you know, by the beach is windy. And you can see it, the wind actually pushes that ghost in white, try to push it away because the wind's so strong. And this ghost, you see this ghost actually spread apart, and someone was able to cling onto her head. I'm going to show you. Here we go. You're going to pay attention to the left side of the screen where this ghost was being blown away. It's behind the camera. It's just being blown away. Here we go. Here it comes. Right now. See, notice that grayish tint? Notice the ghost being blown away. You see it spreads apart? Now you see the grayish tint right now, all of a sudden all concentrated on the right side of her face. Look at her face. Notice the right side of her face is more like, has a tint than the other side. Now I'm going to go back one more time. Here we go. Look at that. See, anyone watching this will not even pick that up. But when I saw it, I couldn't believe it. So if you're starting to go through a phase where you're having doubts about able to get rid of them, you can definitely get rid of them. And they are in the physical. And let me tell you something. You can catch them. If any TIs out there who's still watching this, if you're like a warrior spirit type of TI, then you need to contact me, because maybe we can start something where the one that have the passion for it can actually go trap and capture these spirits, these evil spirits. Maybe even might start a trend, because these things are in the physical. Now, this footage is here on my property 2 years ago. I have no explanation for it. When I show it to other people, they were just saying, they like to say it's gas. There could be some type of gas forming. And that's exactly what happens when people that are not familiar with paranormal, when they watch paranormal stuff, their mind can't process it, because that takes experience. It takes time. When I saw this, I already know it's paranormal. I already know it's unexplained. But these things are real. And they are next to you. And they are listening to this with you. So, fuck your gang stalkers. And fuck my gang stalkers. Here we go. Notice that strange, dense light is spreading out. Look at that. How I believe it actually came together. So it's super concentrated. And it's shape shifting into this, whatever shape this is, just to show the camera. Notice it's in the background. Notice those little things flying around in the front. So that's what can tell me it's in the background. Looks like he's above the Mustang. And look at it. It's literally showing itself. And this is not something random. This is on purpose. Maybe trying to scare me. Maybe trying to show me they're there. It's all about how you want to interpret this information. I mean, I'm still here, so it didn't try to kill me that night. That's for sure. And it's just showing in front of the camera, so there's really no harm there. So it's more likely neutral than a predator. And now it's spreading out, it's disappearing. Just like how I explained how they can come together and they can spread out. So when they come together, it's more dense. When they spread out, it's like you don't even see them. When they spread out, it's like a mist. All right, please share, comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. She won't. Signing out. All right, everybody. So I hope that was a good, informative video for you. Now, I know this live stream's been going for a while now, and for those of you still watching, I hope you were watching that bonus clip with the lady, because that was some really good information for you. And by watching that, you have just made yourself a lot better.
Sit up.
Now, I'm going to show one more video. Now, with this video, it's if you're a TI and you're receiving voice to skull, you call your gang stalkers because you don't have a good experience with these entities. Now, I'm going to show you what it's like for a TI with good relationship with these entities and what's it like. And with that being said, do not believe these entities. And I'm going to show you, okay? I'm going to show you this next video. And this is what's like when you're in a good relationship with these entities. So I'm going to show you this. So here we go.
I'm Mike Cooper. I'm 37 years old. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm as normal as they get. Are you excited for gymnastics?
Yes.
By day, I'm the average dad, and I'm carting my kids around and things like that. But by night, I turn into a mystifier. I combine magic with a spirit energy, and his name is Desmond. Desmond came to me when I was about 6 years old. I had a chalkboard where he would write, "I am Desmond." And this kept happening until one day I just said, "Hello, Desmond." And it stopped. And then other things started to happen.
Desmond is Daddy's imaginary friend.
Anybody see Desmond?
No, he's invisible.
People ask me about it all the time, and I'm like, yeah, we have like lights flicker on and off and light bulbs exploding.
Working with a spirit energy comes with challenges because there's no control. So if Desmond doesn't show up, there's literally no act. Desmond has to show up.
How are you doing, America? I just charged the air with 500,000 volts of electricity. Hopefully, Desmond will be able to feed off of that energy tonight, because I want to introduce him intimately to one of the judges. Mel B, would you be kind enough to join me on stage? Give her a little encouragement, please.
You're going to tase Mel B.
I'm so happy I don't have to
Now, as Mel B makes her way to the stage, remember, it doesn't matter if you believe in Desmond.
Thank you.
All that matters tonight, America, is if you are entertained. Mel, if all goes well, you will be the most entertained. Would you have a seat for me, please? For your safety tonight, I need you to listen to my instructions exactly, okay? I want you to relax, all right? Just sit up straight. Okay. Good.
What does that mean?
I've placed Desmond inside of you, Mel. Tonight, I need to know, do you believe in Desmond? Be honest.
Not really.
Wrong answer, Mel B. Lucky for us, I brought with me my scary spice doll. Tonight, whatever I
Sorry, everybody. I was disconnected. They try to. Well, I wouldn't say they, but I know what's going on, but I'm not going to say anything about it. So I'm going to actually continue with that video. Here we go. And once the video's over, then I'm going to end the stream.
Lucky for us, I brought with me my scary spice doll. Tonight, whatever I do to this doll, Desmond is going to make you feel. So I need you to sit up straight, close your eyes, and become aware. Keep your eyes closed so it's fair. Aware of any and all physical experiences. I'm going to link the doll's aura to Mel's. Yeah, close your eyes. Don't move, Mel. Just become aware of anything that you might feel. Don't say anything. Just become aware. Watch. Mel, have you felt any touches at all? Yes or no?
No.
On your right shoulder, have you felt any touches?
Well, you did it like...
Wait. Just answer yes or no.
Yeah.
How many touches did you just feel?
One.
Point to the general area you felt that touch occur. It was Desmond. Open your eyes. Mel B, I haven't touched you.
Really?
All I did, you can ask them, it was tap the doll 2 times, you felt 1. We're going to have to take this up a notch. Mel B, hold your hands out in front of you like this. Good. Stretch them all the way up, please. Squeeze 2 tight fists. All right, a little higher. I don't want to touch your hands. Close your eyes. Focus only on your hands, Mel B. We're going to take it up a notch. Mel B, open your eyes, but don't move your hands. I want you to be honest. Did you feel your hands begin to warm just slightly?
Yeah.
Yes, let me explain what that was. I quickly lit the doll's hands on fire. That's why you just felt heat. That's why your hands are singed. Check it out for yourself. Check it out. Show it to the audience. Show it to the audience. But wait. Mel B, I need to know, do you believe in Desmond now?
Well, yeah.
I can tell there's doubt, so we're going to try one last experiment. Close your eyes, Mel B, and you let them know the second you feel it. I call this last part the convincer. Oh, no. You feel it? Yes?
Yeah.
Give Mel B a big round of applause.
My God. No.
Be careful.
Hey, you. Thanks for stopping by. You want to see more? You want to subscribe? Just click right here, and you'll see more talent from AGT. If I was on your side of this, I'd be clicking it.
So my connection was cut off again, but I was gonna say, when you have a good relationship with these entities, you won't see them as gang stalkers, just like that magician. But the magician, let me tell you, the magician depends on the entity. So it's not, don't think that, oh, wow, you want a relationship like that. That video is because that magician was receiving voice to skull. Just like T.I. is receiving voice to skull. But that magician do not have a bad relationship with the entity. The people that are true TIs, we actually have a bad relationship with the entity, and that's how we see them as gang stalkers. Does that make any sense? Well, I just wanted to show you that video to give you an idea what's like for someone receiving voice to skull, but are not being mistreated by these entities. So with that being said, this has been a long live stream. Thank you for watching. And comment if you have anything you want to share. Good night, everybody. Shim Hong, signing out.